Good day. It is November the 18th, and today we're going to start or continue in John 6, doing verses 4 through 6, and Proverbs 18. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, reach me 310-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. We begin John 6, starting in verse 4. Now the Jewish feast of Passover was near. 5. When Jesus looked up and saw a large crowd coming to him, he said to Philip, "Where are we going to buy bread for these people to eat?" 6. But he was asking to test him, for he already knew what he was about to do. Verse 4. Now the Jewish feast of the Passover was near. John tends to group his writings around festivals. 5. When Jesus looked up and saw a large crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where can we buy bread for these people to eat?" They were coming for him. And then he's going, okay, they're coming for us, we gotta feed them. And verse 6. But he was asking this to test him, for he knew what he was about to do. He was testing Philip's faith, see if he says, "Well, I don't know, I guess you're going to have to do something." That's what he was hoping the reply would be. We'll find out what it actually is. Proverbs 18. He that separateth himself seeketh his own desire, and snarls against all sound wisdom. That means you go off by yourself and say, "Don't bother me, I'm going to do it myself." And I'll get all the credit. They don't listen. 2. A fool has no delight in understanding, but only that his heart may lay itself bare. He just wants to get out what he feels like. 3. When the wicked cometh, then cometh also contempt, and with ignominy reproach. 4. The words of a man's mouth are as deep water, a flowing brook, and a fountain of wisdom. 5. It is not good to respect the person of the wicked, so as to turn aside the righteous in judgment. Don't let who the person is affect your judgment. It doesn't matter if he's sister, brother, father, son, mother, family, the mayor, whatever. Doesn't matter. King, don't let the wicked be unpunished. 6. A fool's lips enters in contention, and his mouth calls for strokes. A smart mouth will get you beat. 7. A fool's mouth is his ruin, his lips are the snare of his soul. He blabs too much, tells you too much, gets into trouble. 8. The words of a whisperer is dainty morsels, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Gossip is tasty, and it lodges inside you. It's also poison. 9. Even one that is slack in his work, his brother to him that is destroyer. Shoddy work equals destroys materials. 10. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and are set up on high. God will protect the righteous. All you have to do is run to him. 11. A rich man's wealth is a strong city, and the high wall is no conceit. He trusts in himself and his wealth and what he can do for his protection. That's not the way. It's not going to do any good. 12. Before destruction is the heart of a man is haughty. In other words, he's pride. I can do it. And before the honor goes humility. 13. He that giveth the answer before he heareth is folly and confusion unto him. In other words, he gives an answer before he even hears the case. 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a broken spirit who can bear? 15. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. The wise and the prudent are always seeking to learn more. 16. A man's gift makes room for him. In other words, he stands out. And bringeth him before great men. In other words, people will notice. 17. He that pleadeth first his cause first seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searches him out. Yeah, tell your story first. Oh, yeah. But then someone comes and says, what about this? You need to hear all sides. 18. The lot causes strife to cease and parteth asunder the contentions. 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. 20. Man's belly shall be filled with the fruit of his mouth. With the increase of his lips he shall be satisfied. 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that indulge it eat the fruit thereof. The tongue, being so small, is very powerful. It can give life or death, hurt or mending, sickness or health, joy or sorrow. Be careful what you say and how you say it. 22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a great good and obtaineth favor of Yahweh. That is true. 23. The poor uses entreaties, but the rich answer impudently. The poor says, please. The rich says, get out of my way. And 24. There are friends that one has one-to-one hurt, but there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Yeah, sometimes you got a friend that's you can go, oh, well, friends like this, who needs enemies? I hope you've been blessed by this reading. May the Lord richly bless you. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you can reach me through 810-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. Remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.